If you're playing a Shek or a Hiver, and your toughness is level 552 with 68.57%, forcing your character to get back up while playing dead nearby 27 enemies with both of your arms removed will level up your toughness to 952 with 28.58%. You might be thinking, what? I guess I should start with the basics first. The amount of experience you get in Kenshi is a result of the base experience of an action multiplied by the experience gain multiplier, which by default is set to 3, your racial XP multiplier, for instance if you're a Shek 1.2 times toughness, your level multiplier, and stronger opponent logic for combat skills. If the experience given before level multiplier exceeds 20, or the level multiplier itself exceeds 20, then no experience is rewarded. If the value of experience is too small, then no experience will be granted, as it will just be rounded down to 0. In some cases, the game rounds very oddly. For instance, let's plug in the values from the clip I showed at the start. We were surrounded by 27 enemies, so the base experience was 2.775. Normally, the experience gain multiplier is 3. However, with our left arm below 0 health, it adds 1, and our right arm being below 0 health adds 2, which makes it 6 in total. To be clear, this is only for toughness XP. As we were playing the Shek here, our racial multiplier is 1.2. Our level multiplier was 19.99999. The game rounds to 20. Stronger opponent logic doesn't affect toughness, so it's not in play here at all. If you fill all those values in, you can see that the amount before level multiplier is applied is 19.98, which is not over 20, so we're good, and the level multiplier doesn't exceed 20 either, so we'll still get experience. The result is 399.6. For those of you with a good attention to detail, you may notice that this is actually off by 0.0001 from the level that we actually will reach. As for why, that's simple, it's Kenshi. Sometimes the value will go from 7 to 14 to 21.00001 to 28. This is what I meant when I said that sometimes Kenshi will round pretty oddly. If you look at the graph over here, you'll notice something, that the experience is kind of mirrored in a way. For example, level 0 and level 202 both have an XP multiplier of 1. Level 303 and negative 101 have a multiple of 4, and so on. What I'm getting at is, let's use toughness as an example. The mirrored level for toughness is max level is 101.0441. So if we were level 101.0442, we would be able to get experience again. These max levels were with base settings, unmodded game, so global damage multiplier is 1, and so on. Also, I'm still learning new things about Kenshi every single day, funnily enough, even with 5,100 hours in the game. For all I know, there could be some extra XP mechanic that I'm just completely oblivious to, which could impact the max level a skill can reach. So just keep that in mind when you look at this list here. With that clarified, if you haven't read the title, you might be wondering, well, how do we even get to that point? Like, how do we get to 101, let alone even past it? Well, you can't. Sorry, but there are those who can. Introducing the anti-slavers. These absolute units have very high stats, or in the case of the martial arts variant, pretty high stats with very high randomization. And as NPCs spawn with their stats multiplied by their racial XP multiplier, it's not too uncommon to find an anti-slaver who's gotten past that point. You may be thinking, isn't there some kind of check put into place to make it so you can't recruit NPCs who are too powerful? Well, there is, and I thought it applied to them as well. That is until Shidan told me otherwise. First step, you want to ally with the anti-slavers. This is very easy to do. Use strength to break some shackles off of a slave and put them on yourself to have yourself marked as an escaped slave. Or if you don't have a problem with feeling like you have a loss of control like I do, you could just get yourself enslaved and break out. Kill a noble, punch a noble in the face, go to the floats of ninjas and swear loyalty to them. Basically, become an escaped slave or just an enemy of their enemy, is the gist of it. Once they become your allies, you're going to want to look for your new friend. Or friends, depends on how many times you want to do this. When allied, you should be able to pick up any sleeping anti-slavers. If you're unable to do so, save and load the game. If you want a character who isn't sleeping, or can't sleep like a skeleton, or you're just impatient, there's a little trick I developed. Simply go next to the character, save the game, and then load. Pause the game immediately afterwards when it's done loading. If you do it fast enough, you should be able to pick up your soon-to-be new best buddy. If they're a skeleton, you want to give them some really crummy armor and weigh them down a ton, so they lose whatever fight we're going to put them in. Or if they're an organic character, put on a gas mask, run into the ashlands. Let them breathe in some fresh air. Or go to Venge and wear like a dust coat. Let them bake a little bit. Look, it's not ethical, but it works. The goal here is to get their health to around negative 20-ish. The next step is to get our anti-slaver buddy, well, enslaved. You can go to a slave camp and drop him off to get him to fight the units and get knocked out. Do not put him inside the cage yourself. Or if you want it to be a bit more quick, as in you don't have to leave a slave camp, you could find a Reaver patrol. If you're close to spring, just make sure you drop the anti-slaver off in a direction where they'll run into the Reavers themselves. Just to be clear, recruiting the anti-slaver doesn't always happen. Sometimes things can go wrong. Highly recommend making a quick save, just in case. Once they're conscious and shackled, you'll want to move in and save them. I like to instantly break the shackles of strength, just because in the past I've had them unlock their own shackles before and wander off. When all the hostiles are dealt with, they should follow you. If they don't, load back on the save and do it again. Before too long, they'll make an announcement to you, and you can just say, thanks, couldn't have done it without you, or whatever you want to say for the most part. At this point, they start to walk away. Pause the game, build a small shack on top of them, with another one blocking the door. The same goes for your character. By doing this, we can prevent them from wandering off, getting put in combat, potentially despawning, just a ton of different things which could go wrong. You don't need to close the doors, as they're blocked by the other shacks, but it wouldn't hurt to be safe. Then make a save. I suggest naming it after the current game day and time. Then immediately load that save. Now we just need to wait 24 game hours. The reason I named the save after the current time is so we can easily keep track of how long we have left. To recruit an anti-slaver, they need to have the brave personality, which it just so happens that all generic anti-slavers spawn with. We also need to be marked as their savior, which is why we had unlocked their shackles. However, by freeing them to achieve this, it actually prevents the dialogue branch, which leads to recruitment. This is why we had loaded the game a few moments ago. It refreshes their dialogue, allowing for the recruit branch to be accessed. The other requirement is that you had not quote-unquote kidnapped them, or were quote-unquote responsible for their enslavement, at least in their eyes. Oh, and neither of you can be in combat when you go to recruit them. If you happen to fail, which I've been told you can, I haven't had it happen to me personally, the cooldown on reattempting it is a week, so I highly suggest making another save when the time comes, just in case. Oh, and before we get to the end, the credit for finding out how to recruit an anti-slaver goes to Shidan. For those of you who don't know who that is, it's the person I go to when I have a Kenshi question. Once 24 hours are up, go ahead and pause the game and dismantle the buildings. The anti-slaver should start talking. If they do, immediately click to talk to them, or you'll miss your chance. Then just ask them to join you. It's that easy. Hopefully you learned something new watching this video. If you have any questions, or if any problems come up, feel free to let me know down below. And thank you very much for watching. Real quick before I end the video, here's a quick rundown on the less obvious side effects, or just things to note after reaching the max level for certain skills. In order to reliably get to 952 toughness, you'll want to get as close to the max level as you can. You can do so by using a fog pole and just escape right before you hit the cap. From there, just replicate what I did at the beginning of the video. Even at level 101.0442, toughness training is a breeze. Attack is an entirely different beast, however. If your goal is to train an anti-slaver with broken attack and toughness, I would highly recommend only settling for one with at least mid 30%. Trust me, I speak from experience. If your attack level is low enough, it can take multiple game days to even get 1%. Thankfully, for the broken dexterity and dodge level characters, it's extremely easy to level up. I think I covered it all, so I'll go ahead and just end with FrankieWuzHere. See ya.